How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for my review of Project Hail Mary. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, like top 5. I've heard great things about the book for a long time. I have the book right behind me. I bought it a while ago because I knew I wanted to read it one day, but I wanted to watch the movie first because I'm more of a movie guy. So if I'm going to go into one of them unspoiled, I'd rather see the movie first and then compare them after the fact. But I've been excited to see this story. It's the same author as The Martian, Andy Weir, and that's a good book and a good movie. I love Ryan Gosling, and it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who haven't actually directed a movie in like 12 years with 22 Jump Street. They've been doing a lot of other writing and producing. They were supposed to do Solo, but that didn't end up working out. But everything that they have directed, I really like. And so like all the stars were aligning for this one to be really good. And it is. I had a great time and I'm so happy because the last like month and a half of movies has been rather rough. I've watched a lot of bland stuff, god-awful stuff, disappointing stuff, and now I had a genuinely great theatrical experience and possibly my favorite movie of the year so far. So let's get into all the things I really liked about Project Hail Mary. So this is the kind of Earth is in danger, we gotta go into space to figure out some kind of way to save it type of story that's been done before, but I like the details of this. Essentially, there is this microorganism that has formed a mysterious line between the sun and Venus. We don't know why they're passing by Mercury, but they're causing the sun to gradually dim. They're eating away at the sun, and a ton of the other stars closest to our solar system are also being eaten away by them as well, except one. Far light years away, there's one star that isn't being affected, and so we gotta travel out an incredible distance to find out why that is. And Ryan Gosling wakes up on the ship, and he doesn't actually remember anything. He has to piece together what's going on. His other crew members have mysteriously died in the process of traveling there, and he's the only hope, and he doesn't remember what the hell's going on. It's a great concept, and amnesia plot lines are something that can very easily annoy me, and at the beginning of the movie, I was wondering what the point was. We have to spend scenes with him where he doesn't know what's going on, he's trying to remember, and I was wondering, why do we need to be doing that? What if he just remembered? Then we wouldn't have to waste all of that time. I mean, there's some extra tension with him not knowing what's going on, but we know he's gonna learn it eventually. Why do the amnesia plotline? And as we get gradual flashbacks throughout the movie, showing the scenes back on Earth, learning more about this problem, seeing how Ryan Gosling got involved with the operation and how he ended up being the one to volunteer to actually go on the mission despite just being a school teacher, we learn a lot of new information that really reframes things and kind of takes his character arc and the narrative in a completely different direction. And that made me realize, okay, you know what? The amnesia angle actually served a greater purpose, and the movie really wouldn't have been the same without it. It's smart with how much information it reveals when. I was enjoying mostly spending time in space, but every time it cut back to Earth, I was never bothered. Like, oh, let's just get back to space, let's get back to the action, because I wanted to know. I wanted to see what all the events were that led up to this. And Ryan Gosling is great. I don't think that's going to be surprising for a lot of people. He has to carry a lot of the movie all on his own, and the comedic beats, the emotional beats, this man who's incredibly smart, but also kind of awkward, a little bit cowardly in that he doesn't want to be the one to put his life on the line for this project initially, and we see how he comes to end up changing his mind and being here working on this. There's actually quite a lot going on with him, and he nailed it. Sandra Hüller is also a very prominent character back on Earth. She's the one kind of putting together Project Hail Mary, and she was really good too. Her character is very cold, but you also get scenes showing the humanity underneath that layer of coldness, and you see that this kind of distance that she puts between herself and other people is just something that's a necessity. It's something she's able to do. It's what makes her good at this job, because she realizes the seriousness of this threat and how she can't let emotions get in the way of it. She has to do what has to be done because there's more at stake here than, like, you know, individual issues, personal issues that people may be dealing with, that she is easily able to throw aside for the greater good. And of course, I have to talk about my boy, Rocky. There is an alien in this movie, and it's been featured prominently in the trailers and the marketing. It's been discussed a lot. Apparently, some book readers have been upset by that. They would have preferred it to be a twist. I don't really see that would have been a huge benefit. I don't know what it's like reading the book. I don't know how faithful of an adaptation it is. I imagine it's pretty close. But we're already dealing with an alien microorganism that's eating the sun, and we have to travel light years away. So the idea that he would encounter another species is not like some mind-blowing twist. It's like, yeah, of course that could easily be one of the things that happens. So revealing that he meets an alien, like, it doesn't give away the incredible friendship that forms between him and the alien. I was so attached to their relationship. It was a genuine bond. I loved this little guy. He's like a little rock dude, and just the way he works, the way they're able to communicate with each other, it's so funny. He's so precious. I wanted to protect him with my life. I was thinking partway through the movie, if anything happens to this goddamn space rock, I am gonna lose it. I'm gonna be really upset. Because the movie is genuinely funny, especially in a lot of their interactions, and you get some great emotional scenes out of them too. And their friendship really helps bring things out of Ryan Gosling's character that he maybe didn't have on Earth, and teaches him new things about himself that he didn't fully realize as he is like questioning who he is, because he doesn't have all of his memories of what led up to this. And like his relationship with Rocky kind of teaches him who he is and what he values, and I just really liked their relationship. I did think the movie dragged on a little bit. It's like 2.5 hours, and around the time when he first met Rocky, I thought that was getting a little slow. There was a lot of scenes with little to no dialogue. We're kind of just watching their ships interact with each other, like him slowly discovering things about the other ship and about the surrounding area and trying to figure out what's going on, and we're just slowly getting acquainted with the space rock. A little bit of that started to drag, but it ended up being worth it in the long run because I got so attached to the character. And by the end, I actually didn't want it to end. Even though it was clearly a long movie, I wanted to spend as much time in this world as possible. I wanted to see more of their interactions. I wanted to see every detailed step of the journey of how he was going to go about saving these stars, saving these planets. I wanted to spend more time in that world, and that's a huge compliment, and that means I'm definitely going to turn around and read the book as soon as possible, which I'm sure is even more detailed. That's kind of Andy Weir's thing. That's definitely how it was when I read The Martian. He likes to get into a lot of the specifics, a lot of the technical elements of the science, and I will say that makes some of the plot beats of the movie not exactly the most exciting necessarily. It's not really like a rip-roaring space action adventure. Like, you've got some of those scenes, but for the most part, it's about these characters bonding on this ship and figuring things out through science, which should not be a surprise considering what The Martian was like. And so, like, a big climax of the plot and of the emotions are them, like, tinkering with things in a lab and just realizing something that practically nobody in the audience is actually going to understand. They're going to have to explain it to us, and that's just how it is. But it works, and when you do get scenes of them doing whatever they need to do in space to figure out this problem, a lot of it does get really exhilarating and tense, and the music really helps with that by Daniel Pemberton. It's really good, and the visuals all around. Beautiful movie. There's just some great imagery of all these things in space, really creative, unique looking things, from the way Rocky's body operates to the way his ship looks, and just really cool stuff. I wanted to see so much more. I just enjoyed spending all of this time in this environment. Even like the way his ship is. He has this like hollow deck, I don't know what you'd call it, where they can just like, you know, display various types of imagery that he likes to hang out in. Just overall, they do a lot visually with this movie to make it stand out, and it's just really engaging the whole time. And I didn't really know where the story was going to end up going. There are a couple different spots where it seems like that could be a natural conclusion, but then the movie just kind of keeps going, and I'm like, oh shit, we've changed course. And that ties back into what I was talking about earlier with all the information we learned through the flashback, kind of revealing new things that change the direction of a character arc so that new things now have to happen in order to fulfill that arc. And it kind of kept me guessing right up until the end of who was going to be saved? How successful are we actually going to be with this entire thing? Because it's not just one planet in danger. There's a ton more, and now that we've learned more specifically about Rocky and his species. But also, like The Martian, it's very good at being uplifting sci-fi, even when things do get emotional, keeping that core theme of like the human spirit and ingenuity intact. It's a good companion piece to that story in that way. And so that you still have a lot of smiles and you can still leave the theater feeling uplifted and excited, because even when the sadder things happen, they serve a purpose and they're really well done. So overall, I laughed, I cried, and I got sad that Rocky is not a real guy. I mean, you know what? Maybe. Who am I to say? Maybe there are little rock dudes out there. Maybe little geo dudes. I don't know. But I had a great time. It drags a little bit, but I don't know if I would even feel that on my second viewing, because that's the part of the movie establishing the core relationship that I ended up loving. So on my second viewing, I might be totally on board with those scenes because I know where they lead. And it would have been cool to have a little more of like an, I guess you could say, active plot, rather than having so many scenes where they're just like sitting around the ship and discussing with each other how to scientifically solve the problem. But that's also the appeal. And their relationship is like the central component and best part of the movie. So I don't think I would even actually really trade that. And as for a rating, I would absolutely give Project Hail Mary 2 thumbs all the way down. Now go to the comment section and see who's confused because they haven't seen the movie yet. But thank you so much for watching. This was all just my opinion, so leave yours down in the comments below, whether you loved the movie or hated it, whether you've read the book or whatever you want to talk about. Let's do it down there. Thank you so much. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more from me. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.